Following the book's instructions and using the withered plants as fertilizer, the unnamed blue flower finally shows signs of vitality. It's grown taller since yesterday, and its leaves unfurl with a hale luster. Days pass. Before I know it, it's time for the pilgrimage ceremony. Outside the city walls and along the riverside, over 100 tents have been set up. It's to accommodate thousands of revenants who are here to witness the ceremony. After praying at the monastery, the pilgrims and acolytes descend along the ridge. They carry blessed lumen flora. The procession covers a long distance, singing hymns to praise Philos. They walk with carefree steps and carry lamps throughout the night. The lights in their hands form another river. They flow through the dark forest and across the swamp. The 36th moonlit night.
Why do I feel happy and sad?
We have our faith.
But faith is fragile. It's like a flower or an egg. One careless moment is all it takes to break it.
What's an egg? I can't remember anymore. But it doesn't matter. We'll be returning to Philos.
Moonlight flickers across the mountain ridge as a gentle breeze passes. Dazzling silver robes sway back and forth.
The Chosen One is attending the ceremony. My lady, why did you bring the Mad King with you? Trying to reform him must be a tiring endeavor, no?
Sounds like a choice. I'm unaware of the new rumors that are circulating the city. I respond with a sheepish smile and lower my voice. Rest assured, he has renounced his old ways thanks to my guidance and spiritual cleansing. The young revenant's expression becomes one of astonishment and admiration. I gently tug Xavier's sleeve. He glances at me and chooses not to expose my lie.
That's wonderful. May Philos prosper under eternity's divine gaze.
Why do the revenants always say weird things? Ready to depart, I pull on Xavier's sleeve, yet he opens his mouth.
What if your eternity's foundation involves sacrificing others?
He has to remember.
Nonsense! Philos is the embodiment of eternity, and everyone possesses an immortal soul. Even if some are sacrificed, they're necessary and justified.
No!
How can we fight against the emptiness of time without immortality? How can we explore the universe?
This is the lie that they've been taught. It's literally like what I said. Faith built on lies, the people trusted their royalty, but were also products of their circumstances, therefore condemned their rulers. The Queen and King's sword cleaves through the conspiracy of eternity. Eternity is the lie the people of Philos were sold because they were indoctrinated and grew up with a mentality of normalcy towards their immortality, not understanding the cost. Xavier himself said a life should never be the price for a civilization.
Assuming eternity does belong to Philos, then, why did you and the others die?
Yeah.
Unable to refute his argument, and intimidated by his sword, the young revenant stops her foot and storms off. He's not wrong. Inside most of the tents set up along the river are statues of Philos' royal family from throughout the ages. They're near the witnesses who are attending the ceremony. These royal statues are crooked and misshapen, the features indistinct. Maybe it's because most revenants have a poor memory. This one is surprisingly lifelike. Its face is too fierce for my liking, however. I approach it and examine a small wooden figurine placed in the back. For some reason, there's a wooden stake in its chest. Is it meant to be like him because they were talking earlier about how he was stabbed, or did MC get stabbed? The last king of Philos, the man responsible for Philos' downfall. Okay, so no, it must have been when he was. An indescribable emotion stirs. I pull out the wooden stake and place the figurine in the brightest, most prominent position, at the center of the statue's base. I walk a bit further, and more revenants offer me flowers. Despite my attempts to refuse them, I eventually accept each one.
Can you even carry all of these flowers?
He furrows his brow and still takes the heavy bundles from me. More revenants gather by the riverside. The singing is so loud, they almost drown out other sounds. Worried we might get separated, he frees one hand to hold mine. We slowly make our way through the crowd. The last king of Philos and the man responsible for Philos' downfall. That beloved king who was eventually despised by all. That's you, yes? We spend so much time together. His identity is no longer a secret to me. I'm more curious about that queen story. I want to know what she did. There must be a reason for why everyone is so reluctant to speak of her fate.
What do you think happened to her?
He looks at me. Stories about salvation and sacrifice follow the same pattern. Some perish, others are saved. Some continue living, and others are forgotten. I suppose she didn't accomplish anything. That's why she was forgotten? Pilgrims pass us as they happily sing hymns about their yearning for light. Xavier watches the group heading towards the riverside. He suddenly speaks to me.
In the beginning, her statues decorated every street. Some were dissatisfied with her conduct, but most adored her. They believed she would be the chosen one who'd lead Philos to its rebirth. She was the key Philos needed to obtain true eternity.
And then?
Are you asking what happened? She disappeared. No one knew where she went.
But she clearly returned to the planet or energy somehow. But if she returned to the planet, then again it would be a situation of her eternal rebirth being the perfect source of food means that no more wanderers would come about, meaning the world wouldn't be left in this state. So what happened to Queen MC? That's the one thing that obviously, you can't glean that because it's going to be hidden in this myth. This is not something that could have been perceived beforehand, I'm assuming.
For 100 years, the people thought she abandoned them. For the 100 years after that, the people slowly forgot about her. Another 100 years passed. Her portraits were burned, and her statues were destroyed. They became the stones that paved the royal capital's plaza. After the king ascended the throne, normalcy returned. Yet nothing could change this planet's fate.
So he returned after she disappeared? Oh no. Oh my god, and imagine Xavier returning to a state like that. His tone is aloof, yet tinged with scorn.
Her sacrifice was nothing more than an insignificant grain in the sands of time.
Oh, his anger in this situation is so incredibly satisfying because this is why her story is so important. This is why I've been saying it before, but I'm sorry, there is so much significance to MC being the story of what women go through throughout history and are consistently used. And it doesn't matter what they want, it's always what they can do for others. Mothers, wives, sacrifices, it doesn't matter. And that's why his anger is, there's like a lot of satisfaction in the anger that Xavier has towards the unjust treatment of Queen MC. You're suggesting I shouldn't let my compassion push me into becoming the chosen one. I don't want to be that kind of person, though. I don't plan on saving anyone either. What? Do you think I'm being selfish? They're already dead. You know someone could change everything. That person wouldn't be me.
You were destined to fail as the chosen one the moment you gave them a modicum of pity.
Why do I feel as if you don't have faith in me? As we talk, several small revenants who recognize me hurriedly approach, holding the lumen flora they picked out. They ask me to help them weave flower crowns. Xavier has an expression that shows he expected this to happen. I sigh and push away the revenants. 1 crown each, form a line. She knows how to weave flower crowns, that's so cute. When I look up again, Xavier is already walking away from the lights and chatter. The night wind rustles through the grass as his figure quickly vanishes into the darkness. He always arrives without a sound and leaves in the same manner. His thoughts are impossible to predict, The ferryman and the young king stand by the riverside. They stare at the lights and the singing revenants. The night fog has almost consumed.
You keep her close. Are you afraid she'll recognize you? Or are you afraid she won't?
The ferryman is definitely their teacher. Merlin!
She won't remember.
It won't be long until the apocalypse arrives. After this pilgrimage ceremony, the river might grow again.
Wait, so does the river carry on spouting new roots?
And it might reach the Tree of Life. Do you want to be a witness to that?
Should they find a method to return, they'll see Philos is no longer the place they imagine it to be.
As the hymn reaches its climax, the boat carrying the pilgrims reaches the center of the river. Amidst solitude and stillness, he turns to look at the elderly man behind him.
Isn't it peaceful when there's no one to ferry?
For us who desperately clung to life until the very end, being trapped here is a punishment.
Yet sinners should atone for those who died unjustly. Am I mistaken?
And her? What will you do when she can't continue? At long last, there is something beyond your expectations.
When the time comes, I'll have already made my preparations.
What are you thinking, Xavier? Seeing that he doesn't want to discuss it any further, the ferryman sighs and says nothing.
Don't you owe me 6 fares now, boy?
Your memory is getting worse. It's 7.
It's so funny. I'm sorry. Xavier's nonchalance is so hilarious.
Centuries have passed, yet I've never seen anyone pay your fare except for her. Where to? I won't ask for a coin this time.
His boots tread across the moss dampened with night dew. He heads towards a bustling area with lights and voices.
Nowhere. I'm waiting for someone.
The Revenants say this grand ceremony is based on a ritual conducted in the past. It was how the royal family bid farewell to knights before they were sent to battle. I wonder if anyone gave Xavier flowers when he departed as a knight. I rub my sore wrists as I finish weaving the last flower crown. It's for him.
He was scary. When he passed by my tent and saw me making wooden carvings, he threatened me into making one for him.
I don't think he threatened you, probably just asked. Then again, he's very aloof and kind of blunt in this myth. My ears perk up when he's mentioned. I walk toward the tent surrounded by the Revenants. What did he ask you to carve?
A small wooden figurine of the Chosen One. It's you, my lady.
Huh?
Did he pay for it?
He only gave me a gemstone from one of his buttons. Was he trying to flaunt his wealth? Unbelievable.
He still paid for it, no?
He's only pretending to obey you. He'll spend every night cursing you with that wooden figurine.
People are funny. That's an exaggeration, don't you think? Strange yet restless emotions stir in my heart. I look around, but I can't see him anywhere. Songs drift from the rustling forest in the distance. As the moon rises to its apex, the pilgrimage ceremony reaches its climax. The chosen pilgrims drift downstream in small boats. They sail amidst the Revenants' cheers and songs. The Revenants remove the floral wreaths from their wrists and toss them skyward. There is a shower of light that rains down. Do you leave me behind and return already? For some reason, the scene feels strangely familiar. It's as if there was an even more magnificent celebration in my memory. What's happening to me? Pain suddenly pulsates throughout my heart. Oh, she's gonna remember. But also, he intended to come back, because why else would he ask for that figurine to be made? He is still strongly and strangely sentimental. The violent tremors pound against my eardrums as an unbearable force spreads from my chest to my entire body. Also, what goes through my head is, I feel like one of these boats are actually going to find the tree and that's where we're going to end up. Everything before my eyes blurs like paint on soaked paper.
Your Highness? Your Highness? Tomorrow is your coronation ceremony. Starting tomorrow, you'll be the Queen of Philos.
For my eyes is not Cindersfell, but a magnificent grand palace. It is as white as snow and radiant.
For your coronation, he asked for 20 carriages to be filled with fresh flowers. I'm telling you this in secret, so you didn't hear it from me.
Oh, Jeremiah.
The children he hired lined the streets. They cheered and scattered flowers. Some stood along the roadside, others on rooftops. In the end, the entire square turned into a sea of flowers. Did you see it?
Is this my memory? Are they talking to me? Wild winds sweep through the area and toss aside the already weightless bodies of the revenants. They tightly hold their hoods as they gather around me. Wait, but we know Jeremiah is live because he's currently in our timeline. So where are the rest of the backtrackers during this situation with Xavier?
It's
the
Chosen one!
My
My lady!
Excited, expectant gazes approach me. I try to step back. These individuals move closer. What did you just call me?
The chosen one! You shall
save
save
us,
my
my
lady!
lady.
Voices assault me from all directions, as countless hands grab at my dress, their expressions revealing an urgent zealotry.
Do you remember what Philos was like?
You met the pilgrims in Philos. Did they find happiness? I heard that...
What are they talking about?
Help me! Help me!
What's Philos? Pilgrims? Who am I? Why can't I remember anything? My memories have been burned to a crisp. My mind is a blank slate. And I feel a strangeness, unlike anything I've ever known.
Philos is about to meet its end. We beseech you, your majesty. As the ruler of Philos, you must ensure this planet survives. The ether core within your heart can save Philos from destruction.
Oh, they just straight up said that she has an ether.
The Chosen One has exerted herself during the pilgrimage ceremony. Leave her be.
The crowd parts. When I raise my head, I see an elderly man in white robes standing before me. I don't understand why he's smiling. Wary, I step back.
Take her away.
After he turns and walks elsewhere, a young acolyte immediately runs toward
My
me.
lady, please return to the monastery with me. Wait! Please don't wander off!
I kneel on the moonlit grass and stare at my reflection in the river. The face reflected in the water is unfamiliar. The clothes I'm wearing are unfamiliar. Even the crown on my head is unfamiliar. Within the rippling, blurring reflection, numerous shadows stare back at me.
Come, become one of us.
Wait, anyone who sinks into the river stays there. This is not good. Shadowy hands reach up from the water. They pull and tug at my clothes.
Become nourishment, just like us.
That's why nothing returns. My thoughts, too, feel as though they're being pulled by countless decaying hands. I'm slowly sinking into a whirlpool.
Why are you here by yourself?
A white figure appears in the depths of the forest. In spite of the darkness, he's cloaked in a soft light. As soon as he raises his head, I freeze. Several seconds pass before I feel the faint flutter in my throat.
Why are you just staring at me?
Xavier? My memories begin to stir once the first syllable of his name leaves my lips. They slowly flood my mind. She got her memories back just like LSD. His long-lost familiarity seems to transcend time and space. It compels me to run to him and hold him close. With an icy hand from the riverbed, tightens its grip. I'm dragged into a bottomless darkness. The groups of pilgrims disperse. Only the lumen flora lie scattered on the ground.
Your Excellency, will we be able to return?
Worry not. The day when we are welcomed into the light shall arrive.
A raging gale churns the river's waters. Dark clouds slowly obscure the moonlight along the horizon. Into the fog, a boat carrying revenants is swept into a whirlpool. The vessel and its passengers are swallowed. They will never resurface. So the vessel that they just sent off was sacrificed as food for the planet? Just like what happened at Starfall Forest during Xavier's Gladius ceremony, maybe? Oh dear. This is great. The chorus of voices comes and goes like the ebb and flow of the water. It's close before suddenly becoming distant as it gradually fades into the depths of a murky consciousness. Because she was just dragged below. When I wake up again, I find myself lying by the riverside. My sleeves are soaked with cold water. Was I unable to remember anything before? As an outsider, my memories slowly fade away just like the Revenant. No! She remembered him! Wait, Xavier! I freeze before I sit up and look around frantically. Xavier? No one answers. I stand and start my search. I soon spot a familiar figure in a nearby field of flowers. Xavier! I steady my breathing and stand in front of him. It seems as though he hasn't noticed me. Seemingly in a deep slumber, he lies quietly amongst the flowers. Thin wisps of black mist are wrapped around his body. It's as if the resentment of countless revenants is corroding him. His breathing is stable. His chest rises and falls with every breath. He's not injured. Is he actually sleeping? A weight is lifted from my chest. I crouch down beside him and poke the back of his head. No response. He's always been a light sleeper. He'd sense my presence as soon as I took a step in his direction before. But he seems to have fallen into a defenseless slumber this time. I can't help but lean toward him, the point where I only need to look down to see his long, soft eyelashes. You're always stern when you're awake, but I'll admit you look cute when you're sleeping. The person you like, the one you want to give flowers to, wouldn't she want to see your smile? I touch the corners of his mouth and imagine what he might look like with a grin. Without realizing it, I start smiling. Did you say my name? Or was I imagining it? Xavier? Who exactly are you? Deciding to set aside those unanswerable questions, I lie down beside him and touch his hair. The strands are entwined around my fingers, and I begin tying knots one by one for him. Next time you give me a cold look, I'll just think of how you're letting me mess with you right now. As if hearing my words, his brow furrows slightly. Keep sleeping if you're tired. Oh! He suddenly opens his eyes. I loosen my grip, and the half-braided strands of hair escape from my hand. That's so cute! You... Our gazes meet in the darkness. He doesn't speak, instead opting to stare at me for a long, long time. It lasts for so long that questions appear in my mind. Is he trying to confirm something? Or is he waiting for something?
You're here.
Hmm?
I had an incredibly long dream. I followed my teacher into battle. And then I journeyed through the starry sea. When I returned, you were gone.
Oh, sad Xavier when he looks like a king. His voice is soft and hoarse. It still carries traces of that dreamlike days.
So much happened during those 300 years in your absence. I don't even know where to begin.
The golden apple. He does remember her.
I doubt you want to hear those boring details.
No, I want to hear them. Oh my god. Oh. He's associating the version of her that he loved and knew with the current her, and I love that so deeply.
Do you remember our little planet? I told you about it before.
The
wavy leaf sea lavenders grow better there. I brought back some seeds and hoped I could grow them for you.
The forget-me-not. So the name of that flower is... I'm gonna say what they said, but we know what they are, forget-me-nots. Wavy leaf sea lavender? My hand trembles, and I feel a sharp pain. The brooch on his chest has pricked my fingertip.
Back then, it was just like this. I thought my intentions were clear. Why didn't you understand them?
Because he was trying to court her, and like he was trying to say that he wanted to only marry her, and she pricked her finger on his brooch just like back then.
Maybe I'm the one who's foolish. I should have been more direct from the beginning.
He gently holds my finger and carefully wipes away the drop of blood.
When we last saw each other, you said you had feelings for someone. It doesn't matter to me yet. Why wasn't that person by your side when you were in danger?
Because it was you.
Forget him.
His persistent gaze stays on me for a long time. I can only nod in response. I don't like him anymore. But I like you. Is that alright? As those words hang in the air, everything suddenly falls silent. Even the wind stops blowing. It just took them both another lifetime and another title and status to finally be honest with themselves. The night is still, and the flower field is silent. Only the distant waters of the river laps against the shore. Neither of us moves. I'm trying to think of words that could break the tension. Then he shifts closer to me. Huh? His cool fingertips press against my jawline, and our breaths intertwine. I attempt to create some distance between us.
What's wrong? Am I not allowed to kiss you here?
He lowers his head, his expression indiscernible. All I can feel is his cool breath against my eyelashes.
Of course. Why would you want to see me like this?
The hand at my nape tightens its grip, and he lowers his head again. Instead of retreating, he stubbornly kisses. It feels like I'm trapped in a thick, viscous dream. I'm unable to wake up, and unwilling to try. The warmth and pressure from his hand seep into my skin. They carry an affection that borders on obsession. And this works for how, like, possessive Xavier is. He's very, very intense, super into overstimulation.
This is my dream. I'm free to do as I please.
He thinks he's dreaming. King Xavier doing the in heat animation. Like earlier I was like, oh, it's just because he's sleepy, it's fine. But now with this context, give in. Feel free to give in. I am more than willing to comply.
You're a figment of my imagination, aren't you?
I'm not surprised. He's a very hungry person. He's very greedy. So this works. Like, As our lips touch, I catch a glimpse of the lumen floor gently swaying. The wind has begun to stir again. Oh, she's reciprocating. So, I was informed that roughly they estimate that the time in which the free 4-star that you get after you do the companion drill, that one takes place after the 6th part, and we've just finished the 6th part, so we're gonna go and give this a listen. I will admit, same thing with LSG, what happened was the free one, I was like, oh, maybe there's lore. That was very little lore, very much relationship progression, and I'm like, I think this might be the same situation. I ran out of space on my PC, so it's gonna show no reward, but this is literally my first time listening to it. I'm very clueless, we're just gonna start off. I did switch the art to the actual art on the card.
There's no need to run. I'm unharmed. The swords. After they failed to assassinate me, there was a stalemate. It didn't last long. More importantly, I can see you're upset. Try not to hyperventilate, please. Come here. You didn't even hesitate to sit in my lap. Your boldness borders on insolence. That's not my blood. I'm not lying. My blood has a different scent.
I was able to tell, that's crazy.
You're actually smelling it.
Pinky?
Your face is cool to the touch. Were you near the river again? You smell like lilies, pine wood, and stolen sweet fruit. You and your sneak attacks. Yes, of course I can be trapped. Wouldn't a supposedly restrained target be the perfect bait for your enemies? As you can see, the tables have turned. You're the one who's trapped now.
He loves caging her. That's something.
An unfocused gaze is easily deceived by appearances. And even the faintest sound can reveal your position. You've already lost your chance to escape. You're tightly clinging to me. Are you giving up? Or is this a counterattack? Neither. As long as the prize is tempting enough, someone will always risk walking into a trap. So that's what you think. Me?
Or how he said that.
If you set the trap, then I'll gladly walk into it. But it's not because you're the prize. It's because I want to see the person who used herself as bait. Now I'm the one who can't escape.
We do not need to go into Unreturned Traveler. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Great. Thank you, Gilded Dreams. You know what? They clearly got closer in their relationship.
You disappeared faster than...
I don't want to hear it, Xavier. The romance being like such a pivotal part of the game for both LSG and AOD. Those romance building cards after, you know, you do the combat drill, but you really get to know the companion. And then you really get to know the companion in the secret times. It's just unfortunate that they're so short. But alas, I don't really know where that sits. It's just probably like after what happened at the end of 6, they just carried on getting closer, I guess. I love that. Okay, part 7. The ceremony ended, and those pilgrims were never seen again. The elders in the monastery declared the ritual a success. It was an auspicious sign since the Chosen One appeared. The revenants celebrated every night. The city was filled with statues of the Chosen One in all sizes overnight. There was also the tree bark touched by the Chosen One, the tiles the Chosen One stepped on, even the stone the Chosen One supposedly hit her head on after tripping over a branch during her arrival. She's so me, because I'm so clumsy. But like, it's just like repeating the exact same stuff that happened with Queen MC. She was heralded as this amazing thing and then turned to less than mud on the ground when she was no longer useful to people. They were all treated as a sacred gift. The revenants competed with one another to preserve these treasures.
Your baubles are nothing. My hand was touched by the Chosen One herself.
Upon hearing this, revenants surround him and let out gasps of envious admiration.
You have been blessed! Excellent! We'll chop off your hand and mount it on the city wall, so every passerby can shake it.
That's so...
You want to cut off the hand that the Chosen One touched? Don't be afraid, we're incapable of feeling pain. Or is your heart not sincere enough? I shall accept any sacrifice if it means I can be a pilgrim.
After I attended the pilgrimage ceremony, I realized that, as an outsider, my memories will slowly fade away too. If I can't return to Philos, I'll eventually be just like those revenants. Yet, where did those pilgrims go? Acolytes from the Order of Babel will always avoid the question. Does the end of the river truly lead to the tree of life that's mentioned in the prophecy? What if there never was a tree? It's just all a fallacy. Just to get more and more people to sacrifice themselves.
Your solution is to follow in their footsteps. You'll see where the supposed sacred path of pilgrimage takes you.
They say the river doesn't end. If that's the case, what happened to those pilgrims? They didn't die, but they didn't live either. No one has seen them since. The river silently flows as our ferry glides across the mirror-like black water. A thin mist surrounds us. Also, I love how we're just carrying on, like, they did the thing, he thought it was a dream, very much not a dream, and then clearly continuing to be intimate with each other, and now they're just like, companions! Come to think of it, if we're measuring how close someone is to the Chosen One, you should have been chosen for the ceremony.
I'm honored.
You ate meals cooked by the Chosen One, held the Chosen One's hands, and even embraced the Chosen One. And these eyes were blessed by the Chosen One's presence.
Should I pluck out my eyelashes for you to count too?
These lips have also kissed Remembering what happened that day, I swallow my words.
You don't want to continue?
Xavier, where is your shame? You actually don't remember anything? He responds with an expressionless look. Then he turns away and his voice is unexpectedly tinged with a hint of resentment.
You're the one who doesn't remember anything.
Yeah, she doesn't remember Queen MC time, but you don't remember what just happened? Are you not gonna... Not wanting to argue, I focus on what's more pressing at the moment. I need to figure out what happened to those revenants. If anything that crosses the water of the cinders sinks, perhaps the path they sought is there.
How did you get this boat? Or rather, how did you convince someone who doesn't accept credit to lend you this boat?
It's a long story. After boarding the ferry numerous times, I gradually became acquainted with the ferryman of the Cinders. Occasionally, when he wanted to rest uninterrupted, I would volunteer to take over. He didn't agree to it at first and always refused with a cold expression, but as time passed, he eventually let me handle it. When I encountered revenants who wanted to cross the river despite lacking coins, I didn't turn them away. I asked them to tell stories as a form of payment. When he discovered this, he always turned a blind eye. As for his background and why he serves as a ferryman for this river, I've asked him out of curiosity before. He always refuses to talk about it. You know each other?
You can say we're old acquaintances.
It sounds like they're old acquaintances from Philos. As we gradually sail away from the city, we can see the desolate forest to the west is burning. Acrid grey smoke rises skyward. More revenant knights have been gathering at the edge of the forest, and the strife is becoming more prevalent. Consumed by resentment, they fight each other with the hatred from when they were alive. Their screams echo amongst the dead branches and fallen leaves. As the bishop foretold, signs of the apocalypse are once again emerging from the ruined city walls.
I was unaware you were skilled at ferrying.
After the bow hits a submerged shoal and spins around several times, he can't bear to watch anymore. He takes the oar from my hands. So funny. I lose track of time. Black clouds gradually cover the full moon, and the scenery around us grows increasingly dark and desolate. Something's not right. The boat creaks, and the river's current becomes turbulent. Startled, ravens fly in all directions. A chill creeps up from the water's surface and latches onto my skin. After passing through a dense fog, the river widens, as if we arrived at a boundless sea. Where are we? The water thrashes violently, like an untamed beast. The looming threat of danger is palpable.
I don't want this. I don't want to be trapped here.
Something that happened to the past pilgrims.
Join me. Become part of these dead waters.
Almost like sirens. These voices, where are they coming from?
Wait, don't fall in.
Under the water's surface, countless invisible hands seem to reach up. Hatred pushes them to maliciously toss our boat back and forth. It also feels like, again, how the river Styx, like, full of people. If you go in, your GG's, it's over. I grip the edge of the boat with all the strength I can muster. Pain pulsates through my chest without warning. My vision blurs. It's as though invisible hands are squeezing my heart. The inky black water transforms into countless golden veins. I could almost believe streams of energy were flowing downward. I feel awful. It's like my strength is being drained away.
Watch out.
The increasingly violent currents strike our boat. The river's surface discards its serenity and transforms it into a massive whirlpool. At that moment, I'm like a seed and plunged into a darkness unknown to all. When I open my eyes again, I find myself curled up in a warm embrace. Our capsized wooden boat somehow glides smoothly along the riverbed. This ritual tunnelway is the same tunnelway that Xavier uses to escort current MC in their Witnessed by Deepspace card to the final spatial anomaly where they enter a place that looks like Uluru. And it's full of forget-me-nots and you can see planets. It's just like mist reminiscent of a veil accompanies us. I can hear the rapids and foam rushing over sharp reefs, but I can't see the dangerous shallows. On the other side of the river, Cindersfell shores fade from view, and despite being underwater, I can feel the moist air. The current gradually calms. Our boat continues to move along the dark underwater passage for a time, before finally hitting a shallow bank. Xavier steps onto the shore first, then he turns and helps me stand.
Careful now. If you fall in, you won't be able to float back up.
Despite the fact the water here barely reaches my ankles, the cave before us seems endless. Strange tiny particles of light float in the air. Warm and bright, they feel oddly familiar. I can almost believe this energy was once part of me. A profound realization washes over me. Perhaps this is the sacred path of pilgrimage, the road that returns to Philos. The archives of the Order of Babel's monastery had records of a certain Philosian legend. It spoke of a mysterious cave that was connected to the center of the planet. Could this be the cave that connects Philos and Cindersfell?
You have quite the imagination.
The sound of flowing water gradually fades behind us as we venture deeper. The further we go, the more the scenery unfolds before us. Look at these light particles. They keep increasing in number and brightness. Perchance, the pilgrims who disappeared found themselves in this place. As the words leave my lips, an enormous monstrous skeleton appears. Bodies lie on the shore. They're still frozen in the position they were in their final moments. Monsters.
They're wanderers. These creatures once roamed Philos before it was destroyed.
The gleam of a blade flashes, and the bone-white remains dissolve into energy particles before dissipating.
They were devoured by those monsters before they could escape.
You know something, yet you're unwilling to share it. He remains silent before turning away. His cloak billows out behind him.
If we could actually return to Philos, what will you do, aside from finding your name?
I haven't thought about it yet. Is there anything you'd like me to do for you? Should I meet with someone on your behalf?
No.
Path splits in two, and for some reason, I can sense the energy emanating from deep within the cave. I take his hand and keep walking. We need to discuss a certain matter. When I return to Philos and rebuild it, I promise to fairly evaluate your merits and shortcomings. I'll start with revisiting the historical texts. The historians abandoned their duties and wrote pure fantasies.
And then?
Oh, I want to know what happens with both of these dialogues. I know I carry on saying that and then I just get wrapped up in the one decision I make, but I'll traverse the Starry Sea. I'll traverse the Starry Sea and visit every place the traveling bards sing of in their songs. I'll be like those specks of light. They emit a faint glow, yet they can drift to distant places.
That sounds wonderful.
If the worst happens, as in I can't find anyone who remembers me and I'm unable to stay in Philos, staying with you would be nice. I keep those words to myself as I look at him. She needs to stop. She needs to start just telling her feelings earlier, God.
It's all right. The starry cosmos has many places you could visit. Take, for example, a beautiful little planet.
Okay, and this time we're gonna try I'll ascend the throne. Maybe I can ascend the throne. Become Philos' new ruler and lead it back to its former glory? It's a jest, but he stops in his tracks and looks at me with a serious expression.
That crown is very heavy.
And he would know, because he's worn it for so long too. And so did she. Is it heavier than the one on your head? Oh, the reed.
Yes,
Oh, he knows the cost. I see. In that case, I'll disregard this option. Being treated as a savior and having those revenants place their hopes on me, the gazes are already heavy. If the worst happens, as in I can't find anyone who remembers me and I'm unable to stay in Philos. Yeah, so we're now back at where we were. Oh, this option has a lot of weight. And again, I really enjoy how Xavier touches upon royalty. Not only from his own reluctance to it, as well as like how he does stand up and take the mantle, but then also his rejection of it. Like there's so many different ways that they explore that aspect of royalty that isn't just like this full acceptance or of the concept of being a royal, which I do find quite fascinating. And I do find it very, very refreshing. I don't necessarily think this is the end of them ever utilizing the royal motifs in Xavier's story, just because I feel like that is one of his exclusive themes, but obviously also how he then encounters it is going to be related to him as a person. It's not just going to be disregarding his actual character. But yeah, that option really hit, especially after finishing the myth. I hear a strange clicking beneath our feet. We look down at the same time. There's a deathly pale wrist encased in crystals. Akin to veins, dark red vines are wrapped around a rib cage. The delicate roots of eerie flowers penetrate hollow eye sockets. That's...
Look over there.
In the distance, a twisted tree looms. It isn't a real tree, but one formed by countless crystallized skeletons. They're stacked and entangled with one another. Their twisted forms are similar, yet they step on those beneath them in a futile attempt to reach for something on high. Thin vines ensnare the crystallized remains. Together, they form a thick, trunk-like structure that's deeply embedded in the planet. That's... 1,000 horrified thoughts flood my mind. This is the tree of life. It's a tree made from corpses. Fucking knew it, god damn it! I've never seen these people before, yet I recognize their clothes as garments that belong to Philos. Each and every one of their expressions are filled with despair and terror. They're like souls in the depths of hell who are seeking salvation. Were these Philosians trapped here? Why?
Philos is an artificial planet.
He suddenly speaks.
Their pretense of eternity depends on an energy source called a protocore.
Protocore? Familiarity washes over me again. For some reason, a sadness resurfaces.
The planet found itself on the verge of collapse after its energy was depleted. However, the most scholarly elder in the royal capital had a solution. The royal family discovered an uninhabited area with a chaotic protofield in Starfall Forest. It was located in the southern region of the planet. Deep within that forest is a cave. It leads directly to the heart of the planet. So long as humans were thrown into that cave, the planet's energy would never be depleted. Like the people who thought this system was justified, the planet possessed an insatiable greed.
He looks at those crystals that can no longer be called human.
They're the victims who were used as fuel.
Did anyone escape and live to tell the tale? I look at Xavier, but I already know the answer in my heart.
No.
He starts walking again, moving past the tree as he continues forward.
Those who defied orders and went to investigate disappeared after entering the cave.
The number of sacrifices required inevitably increased. No one would willingly sacrifice themselves for the planet unless there was a good reason.
Thus, the royal family came up with a plan to cover up their crimes. They no longer kept the sacrifices secret. They used honor to disguise it and called it a pilgrimage. To maintain a false eternity, they needed to weave lies one after another. Every member of the royal family had to bear the burden of perpetuating these lies.
You were the one who ended it. He shakes his head.
Ironically, the one who did that wasn't even remembered.
Although our surroundings are quiet, I can almost hear everyone's desperate cries for help as they face death.
Now you know the truth. Do you still consider Philos your homeland?
The chosen one! My lady!
My footsteps falter. I look down and I'm greeted by eyes filled with absolute terror. That outfit. He's a pilgrim from that day. Tiny crystal seemingly alive, spread from the youth's palm.
The pilgrimage is a lie. It will never lead us to Philos, or a source of nourishment for the cinders. The waters, they grow without end. Only then will it reveal the true path. You are the last one it needs, my lady. You can lead us back to Philos, yes? My lady?
He kneels before us and presses his forehead to the ground.
Why won't you save us? You traitor!
Watch out!
Xavier wraps his arm around my waist and pulls me back. His sword draws a black and golden arc. It rushes forth and slices the figure's waist. The pilgrim, who transformed into a wanderer, falls to his knees. He prostrates towards the tree as if he's worshipping it. The crisis had passed, and the lie behind the pilgrimage was exposed. Yet I know that we can never return to Philos. After we return, we seemingly have an unspoken agreement to not discuss that path of pilgrimage. All those memories of Philos are nothing more than obsessions about past illusions. Was I one of those sacrifices? And if I was necessary, then no one remembers me. Yet after learning all this, I surprisingly find myself at ease.
Have you thought about your plans for the future? Assuming you can't return to Philos.
I'll stay here for now. Tomorrow's problems can wait until tomorrow. At least, I'm free at the moment. The small boat sways gently on the river surface. For some reason, tonight's moonlight seems especially bright.
Here.
He grabs my wrist and places a small object in my hand. Is this a gift?
Yes. It's a special protocore. A trinket from Philos. It may be a fragment, but you'll find a use for it.
Are you sure it's not a small stone or pebble? Ah, you're trying to make me feel better.
You can see it like that if you like.
Alright, this shiny pebble is mine now. Although I want his flower more. This is the first gift he's ever given me. I've decided to accept the rock after mulling over it. I lie down on the bottom of the boat and recall a similar tranquility that accompanied us for our first boat ride. Back then, I accidentally touched his reflection and saw his past. I tried again at a later date, but I failed. An impulse to try again takes hold of me. The moonrise's light pierces the slender tree trunks and illuminates his reflection on the water's surface. When he isn't looking, I touch his reflection on the river. He's playing with water. I was going to say fire, but... This time, I saw him standing with his back to me, surrounded by an endless sea of flowers. As darkness gradually covers the land, and stars fill the sky, he places a cluster of light blue flowers before a tombstone?
This is a beautiful place, and I've always wanted to bring you here. But I never had the chance. I couldn't find you, and I didn't know if you'd like the scenery here.
Don't tell me. Please don't tell me this is Uluru.
I'm sorry.
Please don't tell me. Did he find her, or did he just make her a grave because he could? His voice softens as his fingers slowly trace over the engraved text on the tombstone. Zafina, the first queen of Philos. Her name shines quietly like the stars, everlasting. It shall never fade. The name I've long forgotten comes flooding back. The forgotten queen was me this entire time. But then how did he bury her? How did he find her? Was she taken by the planet as fuel again? And that's why she reincarnated? Because we always know that she's gonna reincarnate, but for her to incarnate in the same planet, they carried on using her. Really cool. It's really cool. Xavier had to come back. And the woman he loved was gone. And he just tried to make the best of it. He had to grieve her all over again, and here she is in front of him, and he doesn't even know what to do. It's just way too cruel. It's just way too cruel. Oh, I hate being right like this. Like, I love tragedy and I do love angst. I love when stories have weight. I love when there's repercussions for things. But God, I hate being right. And it hurts so bad. Oh, the writers are really good. Okay. We're almost there. We're almost there. Oh, we're going part 8. I've seemingly grasped a crucial thread as forgotten memories begin to surface. Xavier is the king who succeeded me after I disappeared. The truth is right before my eyes. This place isn't so different from Philos. Rather, places where humans exist are very similar to one another. But if I've been in the heart of the planet for years, then what did Xavier experience? Why is he even here? And also, if she's in the heart of the planet, then it should have continued to survive anyway. Because it already had its fuel because she disappeared and clearly was in it then. If she herself is saying that I've been in the heart of the planet for years. One, what caused that? Maybe she just died. Maybe she just literally ended up there. Maybe she was consumed. Maybe she was pushed. But what I don't understand is how did things get to this current state if she was already that eternal fuel was already there. So why did everything go so wrong? And what did Xavier experience? Why is he even here? Little by little, I pieced together the truth from the forgotten tombstones scattered across Cindersfeld. The story continues. While I was gone, my knight traversed the starry sea. My knight put on that dust-covered crown. My knight became their king. It's the most magnificent coronation ceremony in the history of Philos. His decisions and achievements sent echoes throughout the cosmos, and during the test of time, they had spread far and wide. The people gathered in the square, bathed in the sun's brilliant radiance. They danced to the rhythm of drums and wind instruments until midnight. Only when the radiant moon hung high, its light making the city walls the color of bones, did he finally leave the courtyard. still wearing white coronation robes. Oh my god, this is literally his outfit from the release trailer. The outfit that they then released 6 months later. The white king outfit, the white prince outfit, the white royal outfit. Still wearing white coronation robes, the king removed his crown. Akin to a god's merciful gaze, moonlight poured through the dome and washed over him. Did he sleep well? What happened in his dream?
I miss you so much.
After that, my knight picked up his sword. Monsters and rebels fell one after another to his blade. A new world order was established. Following centuries of war and chaos, Philos was ushered in a dreamy golden age. They adored and praised him. The ballads spoke of his wisdom and brilliance. All knights swore their loyalty to him. He was given the title Sentinel of the Stars. Yet in the end, they stormed his castle and held swords to his throat. Knowledge was lost. The world order crumbled, and war raged endlessly. He sat on his throne as a prisoner. Alone he bore the weight of his crown. This was the downfall of Philos, and the story of his life. Truly works to the sentiment that heavy is the head who wears the crown. Horseshoes scatter the monastery gates for the 14th time, yet the acolytes still panic.
What have you done to the river?
The bishop dismisses everyone and closes the door, his ashen face displaying anger.
You've discovered all our secrets.
They fucked with the river on purpose, and that's why he's mad. To cause more sacrifices. But again,
Royal blood flows through our veins. You, of all people, should understand that the planet will perish once we lose the protocore. The people of Philos will be unable to achieve eternity. Whether it's in the Philos of a bygone era or this city, the answer is still the same. The waters of the cinders and the planet's core can open the gateway to Philos, so long as they're nourished, of course. Whether it's these revenants or our queen, they're all.
Hasn't your tongue done enough lapping?
You want to kill me?
The guilty must atone for their sins.
The tip of a sword is pressed against the bishop's throat. He steps back and looks up to meet a cold, stern gaze.
Have we truly sinned? You dare to claim the kings of Philos were free of sin?
He never claimed that.
Those moronic subjects were asleep. They were obedient. And they wouldn't scream a thing. But you woke them up and told them there were no deities to look up to and no roads forward. Don't you deserve death? Open your eyes. The chance to save Philos is within our grasp, and yet you want to destroy it again.
The planet can die. Let it all return to naught. A world that can only survive through sacrifice should have never existed in the first place.
You can't bear to see her die again. That queen you failed to protect.
That's a low fucking blow. Kill him.
Her heart nourishes those poor revenants in the river, and it's our most precious sacrifice to the heart of the planet.
But eternity was never meant to happen. Maybe that's why everything went to shit anyway, because it doesn't matter if you have an eternal being.
If we throw her into the cinders before the last full moon, we can return to Philos once more. So many have already been sacrificed. She's been sacrificed once before. What's wrong with sacrificing her again? You were the crown prince of Philos. I'll let you be the king.
Your tired rhetoric never changes. This time, we'll find out if it's your call or mine.
The planet needs nourishment if it is to survive. Both you and her are suitable for that role. If you want her to live, You know the price you must pay.
Why is Xavier suitable for that role? What is it in Xavier that makes... Because again, I'm like, say, I do believe the... Okay. I am of the belief. Okay. I talked about this previously, but I was like, why is Xavier the royal family? Like, I said this, I think, in a previous... Like, one of the previous little playthroughs. I don't understand, essentially, what made Xavier part of the royal family. And it could just be like, oh, the royals were chosen because they were the one who were willing to, you know, wear the helm, and then maybe there were multiple grand families, and they all had fights, and then eventually only his came out on top, and blah, 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 and then he was born, blah, blah. And he just had special capabilities. But I think there's more to it. I think because also Eva had such a tight hold on him that in the third anecdote, he allowed a suppressor to be put on him. And he's doing all of this with still a suppressor on him. This is crazy. But taking that into account, there has to be something specifically special about Xavier. And to me, that reads potentially some kind of special breeding or genetic changes. And he might be potentially like a mimicry of what MC actually is. Because if this is a continuation, like Earth died, then this Philos was born. Like eventually later, as the third anecdote states. Eva's research didn't stop in their pursuit for immortality. This is one variant of what that immortality looks like. With that in mind, is Xavier, like, not just a superhuman, but he's, like, something gone right that Xavier wanted, and they want to keep an eye on him, and that's why they put the suppressor on him, and blah, 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 because maybe how MC herself is the cosmos, Xavier is a celestial body, as in, not, like, I'm not saying, like, and obviously there's, like, references to the biblical and stuff like that, but I'm saying very scientifically a celestial body, like, they carry on talking about him being a star, the sun is also a star. What if he literally has, like, the power of a sun? And that's why his immortality just works different. That's why he can also potentially maybe fuel the planet. But again, I still don't understand if they already had sacrificed her, or they say she disappeared, but they weren't very clear about it. But if they'd already sacrificed her, or she'd already gone into the planet's core for her to then be born again, where the acolytes or whatever the frick found her, then why did things go wrong? I feel like I'm still missing something. Because again, it could just be like, again, they were just too greedy, and so things were going to go to hell anyway, even though they had that perfect immortal fuel. But I feel like maybe it could potentially be something else as well. Moonlight bathes the forest in a silver-grey hue. Some windows in the distant city remain brightly lit. This is the first time he stopped to listen to the Revenant's songs, ever since this false world came into existence. If there is a god out there, please hear my wish. May my death not be meaningless. Should our prayers be answered, we willingly surrender our freedom to a false faith. Night falls, and the Revenant's hymns tremble with the rustling leaves. Moonlight appears dimmer compared to before. In the garden, the single wavy leaf sea lavender remains exposed under the moon. A lot of time has passed, yet the flower still hasn't bloomed.
Yes.
Is it because there's no light? He nods. Use your light!
It needs to be somewhere with light.
Is your horse truly nameless? He thinks for a few seconds, and his voice is certain this time.
Shadowbind. I only thought of it now.
With a new name, Shadowbind tosses his head, and neighs loudly. I try to stroke his mane. He nuzzles my palm this time.
After our first horseback ride, he disappeared because he was tired. Do you want him to take you on another ride along the riverside?
I accept his offer, and so we leave the castle. With Moonlight as our guide, Shadowbind brings us down the mountain. The castle and mountains disappear behind us. Wind races through our hair, and dry branches sweep past our ears. We ride past burial grounds and abandoned cities. Fireflies sparkle between blades of grass, and the frost-white mountain paths wind beneath us, under the moon. Shackles, boundaries, cities, and fate itself are left behind in this rush of wind. We race into the night as it deepens, and charge toward the boundless horizon. We pull Shadowbind's reins As the moon rises, we sit side by side in a field of flowers near the riverside. I tear blades of grass into pieces and drop them into the water one by one. Some sink and others are blown away by the wind. When he notices I've entangled the ends of his hair around a flower stem, he doesn't get angry. He slowly untangles it instead. A moment later, he plucks a blade of grass and tickles my cheek with it, as if to punish me. They're so cute. Time passes. He takes my wrist, puts a small bracelet woven with a lumen flora on it. It's tight. Are you afraid I'll get lost?
Yes.
The mountain wind is cold. Streams, water, and moonlight spread out to create a silvery grey glow that rests on his shoulders. This kind of makes me think of that second Kindle that they showed in the trailer. My eyes are half closed when I rest my head on the lap. It's so comfortable that I almost fall asleep. Who are you planning to give that flower to?
You.
I froze for a second. I hadn't told him my memories were coming back, but a thought started to form. Maybe Xavier had known who I was all along, but I didn't know why he kept it from me, or what he'd really been through after I left. Because he's respecting your autonomy. Because if you don't remember, then he's also not going to project his. Then he's not going to project his feelings onto you. And it's a kind of similar situation where even in current timeline, Xavier had a no-contact policy. He was trying to just respect and avoid MC, but of course they ended up in each other's path again. But I didn't know what kept him from me, or what he'd really been through after I left. The past was like those rusted swords hidden in the flowers, left behind and forgotten. I remember the sword he once wielded was reminiscent of moonlight. It's just like him. Do you know how to use a certain kind of sword, Xavier?
Why do you ask?
I grab 2 rusty swords from the grass and toss one to him. It's nothing. I realize we haven't even sparred once. Using identical swords makes our duel fair.
All right.
First move, second move.
Your strikes are too slow.
Yet I still managed to block your attack. 10th move, 20th move. These techniques are all too familiar. He extends his fingers, slides his hand down along my blade, and strikes my wrist. Surely he must be seeing how this is familiar. A tingling numbness shoots through my wrist, and I almost drop my sword. You!
Stay focused when you spar.
21st, 25th.
Who taught you that?
He's distracted. His sword spins through the air after being knocked away. I press the advantage and rush forward. I ram my shoulder into him. Grass scatters and fireflies swirl into chaotic spirals of light as he stumbles. Unexpectedly, he falls onto a flower bed. The tip of my sword pierces the soil near his face. The duel ends with me as the victor. I suppose the prophecy was correct. Xavier, I truly am destined to defeat you. A deal is a deal. The city is now under my control. Instead of struggling, he calmly tilts his head to the side and places his palm over my sword hand.
I remember you saying you'd stand by my side. If that's the case, then our swords should be pointing in the same direction.
Wow.
You still haven't told me who taught you that move.
Dissatisfied with my evasive answer, he brings that up again. I don't know. If you've never seen it before, then I can only guess it's unrelated to you. He raises his hand, and his fingertips almost touch the blade. He turns his wrist. Before I can react, he flips our positions. Holding my wrist, he pins me down. Xavier, our duel already ended.
You didn't say we should stop, so it wasn't over yet.
Instead of backing away, he leans in. His nose almost brushes against my face.
I taught you that move.
He knows she remembers. You said our swords should be pointing in the same direction.
I also said that soft-hearted individuals cannot become a ruler.
I should have gone all out.
Can I claim my prize now?
I push him away. I'm about to stand when a kiss suddenly lands on my forehead. What was that, smacking him away?
You'll hit me if I do that? I'll do it more often then. I won't fight back.
That's so cute. On the way back, he carried me on his back in silence, his figure seeming to hold up the entire night around us. He's willing to tell me stories about his past this time. So how wonderful was this forgotten queen?
Very.
Maybe you're the only one who thinks so.
Many of Philos's myths and stories exist because of her. She issued an order that forbade anyone from entering that man-eating forest. She offended the entire Council of Elders.
Sacrificing yourself is a simple matter. Bearing condemnation while walking into darkness is not. Perhaps the Mad King who's condemned by all as a person can save Philos. Remembering the rumors I'd heard from those little revenants, I gently tapped him on the shoulder. The book said he refused every marriage proposal sent his way. Is that true?
What do you think?
Holding back a smile, I run my finger through his hair. I mess it up before slowly combing my fingers through it to make it neat again. If this tree of life doesn't exist, will all of us be unable to return? Catch a glimpse of fleeting sadness in his eyes this time. Everything must fade away. Then I wish I could stay in this moment forever. I want to share their last moments together at the very least. We returned to my room after walking through the moonlit corridor. Firelight gradually dims, its last embers casting a gentle glow on his peaceful expression. He leans down and kisses my forehead once more.
Don't overthink it. Rest. You'll feel better soon enough.
Don't you dare think about sacrificing yourself. Oh, don't do this to me. I literally just dealt with this in LSG with them both trying to be like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself now. I'm gonna sacrifice myself and not tell you. I'm gonna sacrifice myself and not tell you. And then of course I'm still like, F you, Raphael. Obviously, we do end up with Xavier in our timeline. And he most likely still is the same Xavier. I just hope that whatever end that they meet it together. At least for her.
And when you open your eyes, you might realize this was all just a dream.
My eyelids feel as heavy as lead. I'm sleepy. And why isn't Xavier going to bed? Has he never felt exhaustion before? Good night. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. We'll see each other tomorrow.
I think he's a liar. I have trust issues. Man has lied too many times.
I recognized you the moment I saw you. When you return to Philos and see I'm not there, will you be angry that I deceived you again?
Please tell me you heard this.
There's a spaceship docked at the northern edge of Starfall Forest. It should still be working. Coordinates have already been inputted into the navigation system. You can leave if you want. It'll take you to that beautiful little planet.
He doesn't take the shore. No, when I wake up again, I feel a boat swaying beneath me. I'm alone. An elderly ferryman sits at the stern. There's a dull ache in my heart and my memory is a blur. I don't know who I am or where I came from. I look around. The river, cave, and rocky shores. Everything is unfamiliar to me. Where am I? Who are you? I look at the ferryman. I feel like I know him, but I can't remember who he is.
Once you cross the boundary between life and death, the rest of the journey is yours to walk alone.
For some reason, I'm clutching an oddly shaped fragment. It emits a faint glow and responds to the energy flowing from my heart. The boat enters a narrow cave passage. The sound of water droplets echoes and strikes my ears. Before long, the boat gently runs aground. It rests at the shore before a hazy halo of light. Everything is immersed in this soft, gentle radiance. Motionless, I stand where I am. I cannot suppress the feeling that behind the light lies an invisible force, drawing me in. A faint sound of the wind approaches from a distance, as if it's coming from the entrance to another world. Respond. When my palm touches that light, a blinding radiance surges like the tide to engulf me. When I open my eyes again, I find myself in an unknown place. There is no sky above and no earth under me. The world floats in a sea of consciousness. The air is moist and seemingly flowing with life. I can almost believe I'm positioned at the end of a circulatory system that's making its way back around. What is that? Countless fine veins of light extend from a main trunk, the rhythmic flow resembling the breathing of a large organism. It's a beautiful, enormous tree.
Go a little further ahead, and you can return to where everything began.
Who are you?
Our fates are similar, and yet they are different.
Is this the tree of the universe? And her is the cosmos, of every possibility.
I sensed your presence when you entered the heart of the planet.
And also, does this stand across all myths, or is this specific to Xavier? The heart of the planet. I feel like I know that place very well.
You must be feeling very confused right now. Wherever there is light, the shadow must follow, and together they'll coexist. Likewise, Cindersfell is the shadow of Philos. It is also a failed possibility that continues to expand.
It's a fail state. I knew it! So Cindersfell is heading towards its destruction too. Why am I here then?
Just like how you saved Philos, you possess the power to save the city of Revenants.
Old memories wash over me. I sat on the throne and waited for a long, long time. My knight never returned to me. They told me the only way to save this planet is for me to walk into the heart of the planet. But if I willingly became nourishment for Philos, then why do I still feel pain and loneliness? Was I not prepared to be sacrificed? Was I waiting for someone to find me? But this time I refused to repeat the same mistake. I refused to be Philos' salvation, and I refused to be everyone's hope. The Chosen One is nothing more than a tool for selfish people who want to keep their immortality. That is it. Yes. I love this writing. I love this writing so much. It empowers women. I'm so tired of women being sacrificed for everyone else, and I'm so tired of her taking her own autonomy back. And even then, even if she does decide to make a decision just to cleanse the world of Revenants with this idea that she will be back somewhere in some way, that's still something to me, as opposed to her just purely making this decision once again for people who are ungrateful and only care about how she can be used. Be it in Philos or in this city of Revenants, it's all the same.
You are correct. Philos' destruction cannot be prevented. There was once a king. When he was still a knight, he reached the same conclusion. To truly save those trapped in eternity, one must return to the correct divergence point and create new possibilities.
Oh my god, hold on. It's a correction. Oh my god, okay, I was saying this about Zane and the Master of the Universe theory, but this was more so, but it was also about the universe as a whole and how it functions. There is always variances to the— oh my god, how do I even explain this? How do I even explain this in a cohesive way? Because I wasn't ready to talk about this. Like, this is— everything's coming together. Everything is coming together. There is a correction at each turn. At each timeline, there is a point of deviance which causes things to turn into things of potential fail states or continue down a route. And those routes continue branching. Time itself does not work in a linear pattern, yet linear patterns do still matter, because in some instances the linear past or the linear future are overlaid onto our current present, and that's how we are able to perceive them. And that's something that the wormhole, the deep space tunnel further allows us to do, and also MC as a cosmic entity makes her go beyond the boundaries of space and time. And also we all also know that there are certain things that exist that do not exist within the possibilities of space and time. One, Xavier literally was able to go back in time, and literally his light evil in itself is able to manipulate time itself, or at least himself in time. And then you have Zane, who is the owner of the fractal library, which exists between the universe itself and is owned by no civilization and basically exists beyond the boundaries of space and time. So once again, there are all of these affiliations that make it clear there's a grander plan to the universe that is a web, and parts of that web carry on getting scattered or being ruined, yet there is always a point at which it goes too far. This is a fail state, and it went too far. So I think the tree is just basically saying we need to go back to where things can go into a reset point, to the divergence point, and create new possibilities. Back to the divergence point so we can go to somewhere that's not a fail state, because the current path it's on is a fail state.
The current Cindersfell is but a false branch. It's a tributary destined to run dry.
Are you talking about going back in time? When is the correct divergence point? She lets out a soft sigh.
The two of you chose different methods to save the planet. Neither was right nor wrong. But salvation should never be achieved through sacrifice.
And this is the greatest freaking issue that carries on being repeated when it comes to MC, because MC is consistently used as a sacrifice. In some situations, she's just hated on. In other situations, she is explicitly used as sacrifice, which we literally saw in LSD, and which we literally see in this situation. But Zane, and I love the fact that they are explicitly exploring this with OG3. The thing is, how MC is utilized is different across all myths. I'm not necessarily going to say that they're going to be using it the same way in every situation, because obviously the way MC was used in Decoherence, for example, isn't necessary for immortality. She was used as a weapon, and that's good. Having a bit of a distinction, having a difference in how each of these different love interests explore the ideas of immortality, but also how MC sits within them differently, is also important. And with OG3, it's a bit more explicit in that kind of way, in that it's not, and it's in a very different way to how it sits with Silas and Caleb, which is, again, good. Stories should be different and offer something refreshing in what they're trying to do, even if they do have some overlapping elements, which we have, again, just saw with LSG and this. Oh, I'm so excited for Zane Smith now. Especially with how he sits with fate and time. Oh, all of the OG3 are, oh, my boys, my babies. I'm so excited. But I'm also excited and as to how Silas is going to come about and be completely different. How Caleb is going to come about and be completely different, because the prerequisite and caveat I have for him is the fact that he doesn't have any past lives. So everything really sits in a future variant and stuff like that. Potentially. Okay.
The path of backtracking is dangerous. Success is far from guaranteed.
Has Xavier spoken to this tree, or is she only saying this because we're the cosmos? I remember him bidding me farewell in the empty palace. His lonely figure walked away from the royal court. From that moment, the two of us and the planet we inhabited created different tributaries of fate.
The ether core within you shares the same origin as this planet. Its power is from the depths of the cosmos. The protocore will mend the fractures in this world and allow that eternal city to become a reality.
So there's still a possibility of the eternal city existing. This isn't over for Xavier.
Before its power is depleted, it can grant you one last choice. You can return to the divergence point he created, or remain in this false Philos. Everything is in your hands this time.
Okay, if we remain in this false Philos, things are just going to go to shit anyway. Especially if Xavier's already freaking talking about sacrificing himself, and I don't think she's aware, because again, she seems to have lost her memories again for some random reason, but she's got them back again. But if they go back in time, how do they correct it? Do they both just leave and leave the planet to rot because they both go back in time? Like, what the... One way or another, Xavier decides to leave.
However, I must warn you, if you choose to return to the past, this world will immediately collapse. Philos' fate might find a new hope, or it will march toward irreversible destruction once more. Even you shall become an unknown variable.
She is the variable, though. That was already established in Master of Fate, because every single timeline goes to the point of its variable, and then its deviation.
Have you decided?
Or at least the ones that go wrong. It's only our current timeline, which I strongly believe is the timeline to end all timelines, because it's the convergence of the timelines. They don't even let us decide. I want to go back. In the boundless passage of time, eternity is nothing but stagnation, and existing in such a state is meaningless. And what about Xavier? More importantly, Xavier shouldn't be trapped in that darkness. I agree. And if it means this world has to collapse so he can have a chance again, he should do it, and I would do it too. The light fades, and I feel my body becoming solid again as I return to the entrance of the cave. I come to my senses and look at my hands. They're gradually becoming transparent. Does that mean this world is collapsing? Wait, pause. So, the end of the trailer isn't necessarily the end of... It isn't like some great final sacrifice in the same way. It is still a sacrifice, but it's the end of this world, so everyone is freed of this cycle. But then what happens after? The ferryman waits silently at the cave entrance. Only when he sees me emerge does he smile.
Go. You've made your decision, and I'm certain it's the best one.
How does our teacher know so much? He just seems like a proper Merlin, just a wise beyond reckoning.
My dear child, I have always been proud of you, and you've been through so much. As your teacher, I owe you an apology.
I stare at the old man's familiar face, yet I can't remember who he is. He says nothing else, hugs me, before giving me his all. Wait! He doesn't stop, nor does he look back as he walks into the river. The waters lap the shore and wash away his last footprint. The small boat rocks back and forth as it sails along the inky black river. Acting as my guide, the glowing orb of light that was hanging from the bow vanishes once the boat docks. Shadowbind anxiously paces back and forth along the riverside. He calls out to me when he spots me. Are you going to take me to him? Shadowbind stomps his hooves before galloping off with me on his back. We're heading to Cinderspell. In these final moments, I must be by his side. No matter what happens, we'll stand together. Don't you dare fucking even think about sacrificing yourself, Xavier. Don't you dare. Oh my god, that was so good. Correct divergence point. Oh, now it all makes sense. And then also this obviously allows them to have so many more possibilities in the different kinds of myths and stuff that they explore, because they can explore a bunch of different divergence points. And this is why fail states are important, as well as variation points and what the points of divergence are. But also what needs to be taken into consideration is that there are linear timelines still have to have chronological value, such as God of Tides has to go into LSG, but Abyss Walker, which I originally thought was a fail state, doesn't necessarily mean it's a fail state anymore after going through what happened in LSG, because it made it clear that there are multiple calamities that the Lemurian people went through and they weren't meant to exist in the first place. Now, going on to that, in a future situation, because Lemuria canonically existed in the past because their ruins were on Earth, meaning all of this Philos variations obviously sit on Earth, but Philos consistently is perceived as this aspect of the future, but it doesn't necessarily have to be an aspect of the future, because if the future is overlaid onto the past and overlaid onto our present, because we are allowed that through our perception, that doesn't necessarily mean that the timelines have to be treated as independently, because I will stand by the fact that Forcia, even though it says Phylos and can be seen as a future because obviously Zane and MC already have canonically like a ton of lives together, right? But I believe it was their final life before that we get to our current time because MC remembers his warning in the branch quest explicitly. She hears Zane's voice telling her to go away. And that happens during the second Kindled in Hiya. And they also canonize MC for every single love interest. So they are all important to this. But what I really truly love here is even though this is such a high fantasy fantastical myth, they do still incorporate the sci-fi elements, but they just once again touch on that high sci-fi aspect. And it's so integral, and it was so integral to do it in this way because Xavier is the only one who explicitly has touched time travel. Silas has also traveled through space and time to a degree, but it's not the same way Xavier has. Like, the space-time prison's existence already speaks to the fact that there are aspects of the universe that can change how space and time and temporal dimensions can potentially even work. Yet, when it comes to Xavier specifically, him and this whole situation here canonizes how important it is that he did go back in time. But now what also goes through my head is because we never saw Jeremiah throughout this entire thing, whether he became a revenant, blah, 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 we don't know. But the fact that we're still a spaceship. I wonder if in this final Kindle they're going to make a bit more sense with what happened to the rest of the backtrackers because obviously he did come back. It must be what they decide on now. If they then do the Kindle situation and then we go back to Queen MC POV before Xavier leaves and they choose something slightly different, which is why Xavier's on Earth now with everyone and planning to stay. To see things through whatever he's decided. Okay. Let's go into the final part. I'm so sorry. I know that was a really, really long spiel. Wind sweeps across the wasteland. The sky is drenched in a blood-red light. In the distance, battle standards lie in the mud. Revenant knights stagger between mountains of corpses. No one knows when the horns of war sound. On this night, soaked in unnaturally bright moonlight, the Revenants are reminded of the great battle that destroyed Phylos. The king who destroyed Phylos is a sinner who destroyed eternity.
You decided to face me alone. Shall we make a bet? Let's see if these people you're trying to save, in spite of your tainted reputation, believe in you or me. O survivors of Phylos, your former king has rendered your sacrifices meaningless!
Hordes of Revenants walk. They drag their stumbling feet as they approach the city wall step by step. Broken arrows and spears lie scattered on the ground. Meanwhile, he's encircled by thousands of Revenants. Can't she resonate to help him? Countless spears are thrust toward him. Countless blades slash him. The Revenants have been consumed by their hatred and despair for too long. They need a living sacrifice to pay the debt they owe to the dead. Yet Cinderspell was never meant to exist. It doesn't belong to the living or the dead. The light blade that once protected the kingdom has transformed into the dark blade that slays the dead. Before its collapse, he entrusted the protocol to me, along with Phylos' last chance of survival. From that moment, I was the only person who could access the divergence point and return to Phylos. Yet he would remain trapped within this madness, an eternity's embrace, until the apocalypse arrives. The massive sword roars as it slashes and cuts, and impales one Revenant soldier after another as they lunge toward him. However, the Revenants slowly realize the blade that once struck fear into them can no longer reduce them to ashes. Silence lasts for a moment, before they erupt into a frenzy. The sword is no longer the arbiter of death. They cannot be destroyed. There's no need to be afraid. They celebrate, they howl, they surge like a wave toward the lone figure who still stands with a sword. Xavier! He turns his head, his gaze passing the flames of smoke of battle. When we make eye contact, surprise appears on his face.
How did you...
Why did you think I'd go somewhere without you? I spur Shadowbind through the Revenant horde. Without any hesitation, I charge toward him. As our paths intersect, I lean down and grasp his wrist. I pull him up behind me in one swift motion. That's my girl. I'm the one holding his hand this time. As our powers resonate, light swiftly coalesces and forms into a blade. Streams of light wind along the back of the blade, Power surges and boils between our palms. Before the revenants can lunge toward us, I grab his hand. Together, we raise a sword once more. The two swords of the stars were always meant to be. The two swords of the stars were always meant to point in the same direction.
Now you two remember, you can die together. Philos doesn't need traitors. May you have an audience with eternity.
Oh, I already did, you bastard. The greatsword delivers a mighty slash. The wind howls. The very fabric of reality shifts. Amidst violent tremors, a rift splits open in the sky. Countless golden rays rain down and slice the dark clouds like sharpened blades. Philos' apocalypse shall descend at long last. Sorry, this also reminds me of Shadowbringers, which is one of my favorite Final Fantasy XIV expansions. But like the way they touch upon all of this is such beautiful cinematography.
The light! It's the light!
It's the sun! We've returned to Philos, our salvation!
Sunlight is akin to a torrential downpour after a long drought. Delirious with joy, the revenants raise their heads and race toward a small hill, formed by piles of armor. They're desperate to be the first one to touch the light. Yet it is so dazzling and brilliant that it is impossible to look at. The revenants are forced to close their eyes. The black armor covering their bodies starts to crack. It happens once, but then there's another crack, and a third crack appears. Crystals rapidly spread across their skin, that's touched by the light. They reach their shoulders, chests, and arms.
It burns! Monster! I've become a monster! No! This is a wanderer!
Is this the price they have to pay? Their faith that's forged from lies, a pilgrimage built upon flesh and blood. All of it leads to an even more absurd death. The overwhelming flood of light knocks them down and breaks them. In the distance, atop a pile of armor, a lone figure remains. He sways as if he's about to fall. He struggles to stay upright.
The eternity of Philos! It cannot! It cannot!
That body, which channeled the power of countless revenants, is like an arrow at the end of its flight. However, it stubbornly maintains this massive spectral form. In his despair, he turns only to see a light blade tear through the heavens. It rushes towards him with an overwhelming force. Light blades devour heaven and earth. Time seems to freeze in this moment. Then, there is silence. Shadowbind, who's beneath me, vanishes. As I'm about to fall onto the sharp spears below, the hand grabs me. Xavier! The radiance of the sun and the moon emanates from his body. He is a celestial body, but the heavy blade in his hand can no longer be lifted. The world falls into silence, only he and I remain. He kneels beside me. He silently looks at me. He opens his mouth as if he's trying to speak, but he can't utter a single word. I realize it's the first time he said my name since I arrived in this world.
It's been a long time.
He wipes away the tears from the corner of my eye. Yet will replace him at a quickening rate. I don't understand how he can laugh while saying those words. The most important person in my life left me for a faraway place. I thought he would never return. The days we spent apart grew longer than the days we stood side by side.
Was this your choice?
I shake my head, and I nod. He doesn't actually know my decision.
Good. The choice you made must be the best one.
Luminflora petals mingle with ashes and float into the sky dyed by twilight. Our story is coming to an end.
You said my shoulder was cold and a hard pillow, and yet you slept for so long. Do you like this one?
I do like it, but... On guard.
You have a unique way of showing affection.
I'm just testing how it feels in the moment. On guard again.
Nimble and light when you hold it. It's perfect for your skill level. It managed to strike the crown, has good durability, and is good as a sword.
The sword is well made, but the storm has passed. In this world filled with sunlight and flower fields.
We don't need it. Looks like you've been enchanted. You miss it already?
Of course not.
My hand would look weird if it's not holding a sword. But now, you gave me the best answer.
It looks like a little bird's
The sunlight and
hold on.
flowers are too peaceful. We could use a lively friend.
If we only have one bird, it might fly away when it's too energetic. Make another one. When there's two of them, they'll be attached to each other.
Once they're used to caring for each other, they'll never be apart.
It had to be done and I don't regret this decision. I think this is fantastic writing, but it hurts. Your face is so cold.
The sun is coming out. We won't be cold for much longer. We'll always be together.
I'm so happy that they got to enter on their own terms. And I'm so happy that they went through that failed state together. It really shows how much she loves him and how far he would go for her. And how much they would both endure.
Zay, why do the knights always say, "May Philos prosper under eternity's divine gaze"? Is it because we have very, very long lives?
In Philos' oldest historical records, eternity doesn't refer to one's lifespan, but rather the stories of humanity. These tales are told by both the living and the dead. The living gather the embers left by those who have passed away. The footsteps of the dead echo in the dust. Their stories shall be recited by poets and told by travelers around a campfire. When their names are spoken once more, only then will their unfulfilled ambitions, unexpressed love, and unsolved mysteries transform into stories that are passed down for generations. And to endure the test of time can be seen as a divine miracle. Eternity has always been about stories that can immortalize humanity's joys and sorrows.
As soon as I let go of his hand, the world is released from some kind of constraint. Everything begins to move backward. My consciousness is plunged once more into that familiar darkness, but a beam of warm light gently lifts my body, just like the beginning. In the rapidly flowing river of time, I witness many miracles I've never seen before. A tree learns to stand again from the scorched earth. A bird breaks free from the mud and takes flight. All the wilted flowers with faded colors return to the hands of knights rushing to meet their beloved. Tiny life regrows, a magnificent tapestry of fate. Time radiates outward, with countless pathways leading back to the past, until everything slows down once more. At the very last moment, I hear a gentle voice speak.
Thank you for choosing him.
I'm so glad the tree cares about him. I wonder why. I'm going back to the trees like related to him or something. Oh, sorry, I think that was the royal court in spring. Outside the castle, the sky is clear and the air is crisp. The surrounding landscape sit in silence. The skylark's song drifts down from above. The day is no different from yesterday, just like countless other days that have slipped away in Philos. A small boy kneels amongst the wildflowers. He struggles to lift a sword that's taller than himself.
You had a selection of weapons presented before you. Why did you choose this?
It suits me.
Oh no, don't tell me just when I said that. No, tell me that's why she's...
Thank you for choosing him. You had a selection of weapons presented before you. Why did you choose the sword?
I hope he knows how loved he is. I truly hope he knows how loved he is. Philos' royal family has always upheld a tradition of honing martial prowess. Throughout all his training, he showed a strong aptitude for swordsmanship. It's as if he was born with those nimble, graceful techniques already ingrained in his heart. In less than a month, he surpassed the older students, who were training for a year.
They say that once a knight takes the sword, they must shoulder the responsibility of protecting Philos.
She slightly bends down and looks into the child's somewhat bewildered eyes. She smiles while stroking his wind-tousled hair.
Is that the kind of person you want to be?
He follows his mother's gaze toward the corridor. It's lined with shining golden portraits of past Philosian kings. What if his mother was sacrificed? Sorry, that's just what went through my head. Sorry, pause 1 second. One, this speaks to the potentiality of if his mother was somehow part of the tree or some celestial body, Xavier is not human. He genuinely is a celestial body or something of himself. 2, maybe she could have been sacrificed to the tree. Which is really, really freaking sad that the last fragment of her couldn't have been the thing trying to save her son and just be happy that he was chosen. He follows his mother's gaze toward the corridor. It's lined with shining golden portraits of past Philosian kings.
Should I?
Predetermined answers aren't what makes us human. It's about embarking on a journey to find answers, even when you already know them. Even I don't know what kind of person you should become.
Where can I find that answer?
She holds his hand for a moment. Then she lets go and leans down to straighten his wind-ruffled collar.
Go to the paths you've walked, the people you've met, and the very depths of your heart. The farther you travel on your journey, the closer you are to that answer.
Younger boy nods. He sort of understands.
When that time comes, will I know why I'm supposed to wield a sword?
Yes. However, a sword is still a weapon. It can and will harm others. Knights wield swords for their king, and kings wield swords for their country. You shall have peace in your heart only when you wield your sword for the choices you've made of your own free will.
He was a good person. And it really shows him. Sure is. Royal capital outskirts, summer.
A field trip to a nearby star system? Who came up with that excuse?
Is this like from Shooting Stars when he just decided
He
to
did.
disappear? Isaiah! When they were friends.
I did.
All of us did.
Xavier, Jeremiah, and Isaiah together in an actual positive situation is crazy.
I don't sense a hint of remorse from any of you. Face the wall and reflect on your actions. Xavier, come here.
Yes, sir.
Was Traceback 1 your idea?
Yes.
The backtrackers and the secret base under the library were also your doing.
Yes.
I must have committed terrible sins in my past life. How else could I have ended up teaching self-righteous fools like you?
Wanderers have gnawed this planet inside out. Why are you pretending you can't see it?
It's not your turn yet. Shut your mouth.
Stubborn old fool.
A kingdom will not capitulate to anyone, not even its crown prince. You will be abandoned by the royal family the moment you turn your back on them. Have you truly thought this through?
I know what I need to do.
I guess Xavier thinks he's some kind of savior. You're only making these grand statements because you were born with wealth.
This has nothing to do with you. You're jealous he's the crown prince while you're nothing but a forgotten hooligan from a branch
Jeremiah, damn, throw it shots, dude.
Oh, I see. Is it because you lost to him today?
Matters involving the royal family do not concern you, peasant. You have no right to criticize us.
Jeremiah, get his ass.
You...
All of you are so... Can you put the arguments aside for once?
Sorry?
Or am I the only one who actually wants to embark on this voyage?
Nearby, their friend looks down with a smile and records the upbeat quarrel among the backtrackers in a knight's handbook. Even when they first settled on this name, they were almost ready to brawl because they thought it wasn't catchy enough. So young. Xavier looks into the distance. His thoughts drift to the spaces between the leaves, where a small bird is singing high above the branches. He feels as if the river of time that endlessly flows has come to a standstill. The chirping birds, the drifting clouds, and the wind gently rustling treetops seemingly freeze. He turns around and gazes at the green fields at the foot of the distant mountain. For some unknown reason, he thinks he hears someone calling his name. Yet under the dappled light shifting through the leaves, there is only one fruit that has fallen.
That brat hits too hard. Oh, I almost forgot. I won't tell her about the backtracking, don't worry.
What happens between us doesn't involve you.
You... This is what I get for trying to be nice.
Bless Jeremiah. But is this the point? Silvercord, autumn.
It's time to go. While I was resting in Silvercord, I heard them singing stories about you. You always worry that you aren't doing enough. But you're a good queen. You always will be.
Philos, outer space.
Traceback 2 is preparing for launch. We'll be traveling to a universe that remains unknown to us.
Not his. Stars sweep past the window one by one. During a long voyage, most interstellar travelers choose to enter sleeping pods. Only one does not. Although there are countless moments of lightning streaking across stardust, he sits alone in the cockpit. His thoughts are indiscernible. When passing a beautiful alpha star cluster, he doesn't look back. When passing a star that's about to be born, he doesn't look back. When passing the floating, faintly glowing dust in the cosmos, he still doesn't look back. The spacecraft finally passes through the long, seemingly endless deep space tunnel that's akin to a river that flows forever. It carries him to an unknown destination. But in the universe, where time still has an end, he must have gone to where I am. I cried so many tears. I'm just like... That was such a good man. That was like... Again, 2 for 2, back, like literally right after each other. 2 of the best stories already from the game. LSG, KOD, peak. I'm so curious. So she went back to the point of deviance, but he still goes on the backtracking expedition. But then when he was speaking, it was almost as if he was, when he was like, "You were a good queen," it's as if he was speaking to her as if she was gone. But then how did she help the deviants? Oh god, I feel like I'm missing something really obvious. Maybe I need to sit with it a bit more. Everything has just been really back to back for me. Hold on, let's see what we got here. Eternal Bound. Gift of Fate. At the end of their story, they left behind no goodbyes, no traces. But some say they can still hear the night wind and galloping hooves, as if the two are still riding side by side. Gift of Fate. I have so much to think about. I have so much to think on. I'm so happy. Okay. We're not going to be arrogant. Hold on, where the hell did it go? A lot of the things that I thought were what they were going to were, in fact, what they were going to. I love the fact that it wasn't her sacrifice, though. I love that the Sacred Heart thing, like, it looked like a Sacred Heart, but it wasn't necessarily her sacrifice, but it kind of was, but it wasn't at the same time. But, a new dawn can rise with their reawakening, perhaps. Or it ends the chapter on the variant state of Lightseeker Philos. Because this was a variant state. That's exactly what this was. And they explicitly said it was a failed state. Explicitly said it was a variant, basically. Because things weren't meant to end up this way. I still wonder, though, what the difference was. Because clearly he came back. So this is a version where he doesn't come back. But what makes his decision for him that he's not going to come back? You know what I mean? That's what I'm curious about. I don't know, maybe editing me will have slightly different thoughts and I'll come in with something else. But that was fantastic. That was so peak. That was amazing. The fantasy elements, the sci-fi elements, the philosophical conundrum that the story puts you in was so fantastically explored. And I love that they essentially had a world of their own, but again, it was that same thing of societal pressures of heavy is the head that wears a crown, and they really decided to drill that concept. I don't necessarily think this is the last time we'll see the end of royalty explored with Xavier, because it is one of his core concepts and motifs. Even in his rejection of it, I still think it is an important aspect. And the fact that, again, like, this whole thing is like him defying what his people want because he's doing what's right, and he decides what kind of king he is. So, and to me, that just makes him even more like he should be the one to rule when his mentality is as such. And again, because this was meant to be a variance, it doesn't necessarily speak to the end of how things could go. That was fantastic. And if me has spoken, this was an incredible journey to just go through all of Xavier's myths back to back. And I'm so excited to, again, go through his content again, as well as other little hints that they've played across other bits of content or even announcements, etc., that hint towards this, but also what things look like in his future, especially when he returns to the main story. That is where I'm very, very intrigued, because I feel like LSG and KOD being timed like this is to feed into what we will eventually see in their main story chapters. What a time. And where stars scatter, they scattered. The timelines themselves had scattered in different directions, and now they can go back to pointing in the same direction, and that direction led him back to our timeline where he found her again, and inevitably they fell in love again. So, this was such an incredible journey and so worth the wait. I have so much to sit with and think about, and I definitely would like to do a lore deep dive on essentially everything Xavier, just once I've had a bit more time to sit with everything and also am able to place all of the references. Truly impressed by the writing in this game consistently improving, and again, OG3 finally having more of their moment, and frankly being able to provide this level of quality of storytelling that it required a lot of budget to get here, and I'm glad that they were able to actually support these myths being illustrated to us in the way that they were. I'm just so proud of the direction the game is aiming in, and I think it will only carry on going up from here. So thank you once again so much for spending time with me, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!